What is going on, guys? Lildogdog here, and today I'm bringing you a brand new quest guide for the brand new quest, Desperate Times. This quest came out today, and it features a load of characters and a load of lore. So if that's what you're about, this quest is for you. It's got some similar puzzles to Mourning's End. Some bouncing of light is going to happen. It's pretty much bouncing of light. There's some slide puzzles. It's a pretty RuneScape, old school RuneScape quest. Not an old school RuneScape, but like it's how it used to be. Lots of puzzles. So hopefully I can help you through those. Check the description. There's going to be timestamps down there. Everything you're going to need. Websites that can help you. Um, and I put a lot of work in this. So if you could please subscribe or leave a like or something like that, it would be greatly appreciated. I'll stop shamelessly plugging myself. Let's get into the video. Before you even think about doing this quest, you're going to want to make sure you have completed these quest requirements. You are it, and the needle skips. These are two fairly new quests, so if you've been gone from the game for quite a while, you're going to have to do these before you do it. I'm pretty sure both these quests came out within the past year, so if you've been gone, sucks for you. Got to do some quests, but they're pretty fun. In terms of skill requirements, you're going to need 50 mining, 50 smithing, and 50 divination. You don't really do any mining or smithing in this quest, other than during like a cutscene, but there is a little bit of divination related nonsense, so it makes sense why they have that requirement. And in terms of items you are going to need, you're going to want to bring 3 rune bars, 2 runite stone spirits, finally got a use for those, 10 mine runes, 10 gleaming energy, 1 old necklace, or the necklace of Cheras. Um, they're interchangeable. The necklace of Cheras is basically the upgraded old necklace, and you get that from the quest You Are It. You're also going to need something to get into the Black Knight's Fortress, and the cheapest way to do that is with a bronze medium helm and an iron chain body. If you have a full set of black armor, that'll work. You just need something to be able to get into the Black Knight's Fortress. To start this quest, you're going to want to go to the Berthorpe Castle and go to the second floor where you'll find a bunch of people gathered around discussing. So basically, you climb up the staircase here, and you're going to see Saren here standing at the head of the table. Talk to Saren. It's going to come up with a prompt for you to accept the quest, give you everything you need to know, required items, all that nonsense. You don't need all that. You got me. That's what we're here for. All right. And then once you accept the quest, it's going to ask if you want to watch this cutscene. It's kind of a new style cutscene. I'm all about it. And you're going to want to go to 748 to skip to the end of this cutscene if you wanted to, or I let it play through most of the way if you just wanted to follow along, and I'll shut up. After the cutscene's over, you're basically going to be tasked with impressing an Elder God enough to make them not want to kill you. The way that Saren thinks you should go about that is by convincing all of the people in this room, all of the different races, most of them who hate the other races, to work together and make a giant ass garden. So essentially you need to find a location for the garden, workers to work this garden, and seeds for the garden. And there are many different characters here which can provide one of those services to you. I'll walk you through it. It doesn't really matter in the end who you go with. You'll see why. Not going to give you spoilers when you can wait 2 minutes. So first thing you're going to want to do is talk to this big guy in the southwest corner, Zerador, and ask if he has a location. He'll say that you guys can use the Feldip Hills to plant your garden. That's pretty cool. First try. What do you know like that? We got it right. Never would have guessed. Next, you're going to want to talk to Moya, just to the south. Choose the second chat option. Do you have a workforce? She'll say, well, yeah, I've got a bunch of undead people who would happily farm for me. And then you're going to follow that up with talking to Isandra. He is on the northwestern wall. Choose a third chat option, something along the lines of, do you have seeds? And Isandra's going to be like, well, whoop-de-doo, you betcha. Once you're done with the dialogue here, you're going to want to choose the first chat option, yes, continue with this group of individuals. And they're going to bicker about with each other, saying that I'm not working with him and I'm not working with him, like we're back in elementary school. So you need to try and find a different composition of people. So we're going to start with talking to Venescula Dracan. She is going to be on the eastern wall, right by the staircase. Choose the first chat option. Do you have a location? She'll say, well, yes, I do. We can use Mauritania. So 1, change to Mauritania. And then 1, yes, consider with this or continue with this composition. Once again, it doesn't work, but you know, that's just how this goes. Let's try again. This time we're going to try and change our workforce. See if, you know, the vampires are willing to work with anybody, you know. So let's try Ceramic Vars. He's just to the north, orientated all weird, just to the west. Ask him if he has a workforce. Well, yeah, he's got the White Knights. We knew that. That's why we talked to him. Continue with that composition. And once again, it's not going to work. Now, spoiler alert should be going off right now. Nobody's going to want to work with anybody here because everyone's racist. So Karapak's going to appear, the one race, the Dragonkin, who weren't invited. And he's going to want to go with an alternate plan, being, let's keep the Elder Gods asleep so they can't kill us. They don't want to participate. That's how they got enslaved. So Karapak proposes using Elder God artifacts to keep the children of the Elder Gods asleep, rather than attempting to appease them. Everybody agrees that's probably a good way to go because trying to reason with the Elder Gods didn't work very well for the Dragonkin. So you decide to go with that plan. And to start with that plan, you got to go to the Needle, which is from the Needle Skips, just west of Piscatoris. There's a lot of lore and a lot of dialogue in this quest that you got to click through. If you're big on that, this I wasn't kidding, is the quest for you. There's some twists that go on. I mean, this is a pretty good one. Jagex hit this one out of the ballpark. I'm pretty sure that's why they hyped it up so much with a whole weekend of 1.5 times XP for it. So Saren doesn't think it's a good idea. She's like, no, we should do what I want to do, build a garden. Nobody's having that. They just want to do what Karapak wants to do because Elder Gods kind of sound like dicks. And not like you can fight them. Brunt the Chieftain says, hey, you should bring Thok. Thok knows what's going on. So Thok kind of tags along with the rest of the quest, but he provides some humor. But now we're going to want to head to the Needle, just west of the Piscatoris fishing colony. Fastest way to get there for me, and for most of you probably, is a home teleport to Eagle's Peak. If you've never used one of my videos before, we are going to be home teleporting basically exclusively. Just because that's something everyone has access to. I don't have to throw more in the needed items. I don't have to throw in a recommended item slide at the beginning of the video. We can just, everybody has a home teleport and you lose maybe 5 seconds. We aren't speedrunning this baby. If you want to speedrun, this is not the place for it. Basically from the lodestone though, I digress. You're going to want to go northwest until you arrive at the Needle. You've been here before, or else you wouldn't be doing this quest because you had to do the Needle skips. You know how to get there. So let's walk through this little hunting area. Who's excited for the hunting update? I'm not really excited what they're doing with the XP rates. Not that I'm there yet anyway. But I was always kind of big on the hunter skill, and I want to see what the new hunting type is. I want to see what that is. Some PVM drops? Some skilling PVM drops? That's what I'm talking about, you know? Drop a comment down below if you're even listening. Appreciate it. Once you finally make it to BFE, you're going to want to talk to Carapac, who somehow got here without you and didn't offer his quicker mode of transportation. He's going to ask you if you feel anything coming from the needle. 2, don't lie to the guy. Say, I feel nothing. And he'll basically tell you it's because you're a world guardian who's kind of a god, but kind of not. You're not supposed to exist. You're this whole enigma. So the elder gods don't really have any power over you, or the regular gods. Thok doesn't understand, and I'm pretty sure Carapac makes a thought joke because his name is similar to thought. That's the only thing I could think of. It went a little over my head, I think. Anyways, they're going to kind of argue. You're going to want to say nothing just to avoid all that extra dialogue. And then Carapac is going to decide to try and stabilize the needle or something along those lines, and he's going to cause some temporal anomalies to appear that you got to go close because you're the world guardian. And that's kind of your responsibility now. Gothics did this to you. Anyways, the first 3 temporal rifts or anomalies are going to form right here. They're very easy to see. They're flashing white light and they're red. You just click on them and you close them. They basically lead you to the house. There's 2 inside the house as well for a total of 5. Third one's here, and the next 2 are inside the house upstairs. Once you've got the 5th one closed, you're going to want to return to Carapac. He's still going to be by the needle. He didn't go anywhere. Talks Carapac, and he's going to tell you, or he's going to attempt to do something with the needle, but it doesn't work. So he tells you that you need like a good mage to get this shit done. And he's heard of one of those good mages before. It goes by the name of Cheros. And we're going to go find him. And there's some puzzles to find him. Cheros ain't easy to find. So we got to start in his tomb, which is in McGrubber's Wood. Nailed it. So I home teleported to Sears Village. And then you just basically run west from the Sears Village lodestone and you get right into McGrubber's Wood. For those of you who don't know or don't remember, the entrance to McGruber's Wood is right on the north side by the building. There's a small break in the fence. You just shimmy your way through there. Not like I'd fit in real life, but you know, my character, I can live vicariously through. Go run south directly from where you went in, and you're going to see a mysterious hole, or it's a hole in the ground. Choose the first jet option, yes, to continue Desperate Times, and you're going to be into the Tomb of Cheros. Run along the little labyrinth here, and it's going to bring you to a coffin. Investigate the coffin, and you're going to get a letter from Cheros. I'm going to say it different every time. Every time I'm saying it different. Read the letter. You don't actually have to read it because you're watching a guide. Exit out of that, and now we're going to go to the dig site. Now, there's no really good way to get to the dig site without a dig site teleport. So we got to home teleport to Varrock and walk from there. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. These videos, if you ever see a video of mine longer than 10 minutes, know that I probably took a day to make it. Even if it's trash, please leave a like. Let me know it's trash in the comments, but please leave a like. This one, I put my heart and soul into. Took the day off work and everything, and it's 5 o'clock now. I started on it at 8 in the morning when it just came out, and I'm finally getting done. So if you could leave a like, it would make my day. Anyways, basically you're running east from the lodestone to the dig site. It's a little northeast, but more east than north, if you get my drift. Once you get into the dig site, it'll basically be the first thing you see is a giant yellow circle on the ground, or a big yellow circle. You can see it from further away than characters load in. Characters are starting to load in, you can see it there. It's not clickable or anything like that. All you have to do is walk onto the space where the yellow portal is. And this is going to bring you to the first puzzle room, which is a whole thing. Alright, so I'm going to slow this down just for a second here to explain how these rooms are going to work. You heard me right, rooms, there's multiple. So you're going to see these little colored portals on the ground once you step through the first yellow portal. Stepping onto these portals is going to unlock one of the doors around you. You need to get into 2 of the rooms in the first room, 2 of the rooms in the second portal room, and 3 of the rooms in the third portal room to figure out what the solution is for that big old slide puzzle staring at you in the face right there in the middle of the room. There's multiple smaller puzzles that are going to give you the final solution to what the slide puzzle is. I recommend you get a sheet of paper and a pen or something like that. That's exactly what I did. So you can keep track of what the final solution needs to be. Once we encounter each puzzle, I'll explain it to you, but I'll go over them briefly here right now. Each puzzle is going to have a letter code to get into a chest, which is going to give you the solution. These codes typically are Roman numerals or letters, the first letter of an item in a list or an item on the ground. So as you'll see, the first room I have is what is a recipe, and because all of the grams for the items in the recipe can be converted to a Roman numeral exactly, so each letter 1,000, 500, 100 were each able to convert directly to a Roman numeral. The Roman numeral was the answer, so it was, I believe it was like DCCI or something along those lines, for 1,000, 500, 500, 100. You're going to have to do a lot of Googling if you're not familiar through Roman numerals, but that's the gist of it. So let's get back to the actual video. Alright, so I know that's kind of confusing, but that is the best way I can describe it. You're really only going to understand it once you see it and do it. So the first thing you want to do is step into a portal to unlock a door, and then check if the room that you unlocked has a chest and a puzzle to solve. The first room that I have is an old recipe. If the recipe that you pick up is even numbers, you're going to want to convert those even numbers to Roman numerals from top to bottom. That's the code you use to get into the chest. If the numbers on your recipe are non-even numbers, the code is going to be the first letter of each ingredient. And I'm going to have an example of each puzzle I encountered timestamped below, so if you're confused on the puzzle that you obtained, just go check the timestamp below and see which description matches up with the puzzle you're facing. Once you put in the correct code, you're going to want to check the chest, and then document the pattern. You don't actually have to, it'll save it for you, but on the last chest, you're going to want to document that pattern just so you have it written down somewhere. Now you're going to want to repeat this until you have the whole pattern for the puzzle in the middle that you need to solve. Some rooms will not have chests in them or puzzles to solve. You just have to keep clicking on the portals to open doors you haven't gone into yet until you find the one with the correct room. The correct room is going to have a chest in it, which will have the answer to the slide puzzle in the middle. Now, this next room I faced was kind of confusing for me at first because there was actually nothing in the room other than the chest. However, after looking around for a little bit, I discovered there was a plaque on the wall outside the room. You'll see a quick jump cut here because it took me way too long and I'm embarrassed about it. When you inspect this plaque, you're going to see a series of 4 city banners. The code is going to be the first letter of each of those cities. So my code was Varrock, Faldor, Lumbridge, Karamja. So the code I put in the chest was VFLK. If you're not sure what each city corresponds to, just open your home teleport map, look for the symbol that you're not sure, hover over it, and it'll give you the name of the city, and it's just going to be the first letter of that city's name. So VFLK, I put that in, hit enter, the chest opens, check, and I get my full pattern. This is when I documented the pattern fully, wrote it down, and then head to the center of the room to solve the slide puzzle. Now, it took me way too long to solve the slide puzzle, so I ended up resorting to an online slide puzzle tool. Using the tool that I'll have linked in the description below, I assigned each shape to a color, how it was on the floor, and then you drag each color to where it needs to be. I had to write this down to really keep track of it, but that's the best I can help you. This first one is going to be a little longer than the rest, so it's going to be to 2754 to skip ahead to the solved puzzle. If you already know how to use that link in the description. But essentially how the puzzle was, I'll read it off to you. I set the X to teal, the circle to a purple, the arches to a green, the diamond to a dark pink color, the house shape to a blue color, the triangle shape to an orange color, the square to a light purple color, and the 2 circles to a yellow color. You just right click on those squares to set a random color, and I did that until each one was a unique color. And then when you hit next, it's going to have you drag those colors over to where they need to end up. Once you've drug each color over to where it needs to end up, and remember, you've got each color assigned to a certain shape, you can just hit next and it'll give you the exact solution that you need to do. I'm sorry if that's confusing. Slide puzzles suck. That's why everyone uses the Alt1 toolkit whenever they're doing clue scrolls. But that's the best advice I can give you, is tinker around with that website. If you can't figure it out, I'm sorry, but you should be able to figure it out if you try hard enough. It's not too difficult, but it can be a little confusing, and I apologize for that. Especially because you have to do this 3 times, and that's the best help I can give you. But I'm just going to stop talking now, quit apologizing. I assume everybody here is actually smarter than me, and it won't be difficult at all. Alright, once you've successfully solved the puzzle, the room is going to start to shake, and it'll say that you've been given a key and it connected directly to your necklace. Now you're going to want to exit the room through the portal on the west wall. It's going to be the same color yellow portal that you entered in. And you're going to want to go to the Varrock Palace now. Once again, all I did was home teleport to Varrock. And then run north directly from the lodestone. My pup keeps begging for attention, so she's getting some pats while we walk. Once you get to the Varrock Palace, you're going to want to climb up the stairs, and then enter the room directly to your east. You'll see a yellow portal here, kind of behind a little barrier. Step onto the portal, and it's going to teleport you to the second puzzle room with the slide puzzle. Now, you're going to want to just repeat the earlier steps and enter a room with a chest. So this room here is a new puzzle for me once again. I had stacks of coins on the floor. For this room, each pile of gold is going to correspond to a Roman numeral. It's going to be 4 stacks. You might not be able to see them because it could just be one coin like I have here. But when you examine them, it's going to tell you the exact number of coins that are on the floor. So I had it from east to west, it was 500, 1, 500, and 1. So the corresponding Roman numerals for a 500 is going to be D, and the corresponding Roman numeral for I is going to be just I, or for 1 is going to be I. M for 1,000, and I believe C for 100. So check the chest, it'll give you the portion of the puzzle, and proceed to unlocking the next door for your next puzzle. Now this puzzle is another first for me. The code is going to be the first letter of each item on the ground from east to west. So my code was YPNP. So it went yellow dye, pineapple, nettles, and then paddle. If you have 2 items on the easternmost extreme of a room, for me the southernmost item was first, or the northernmost item, I apologize. Check the chest and then repeat to solve the slide puzzle. So once again, if you figured out how to use the slide puzzle solver, go for it. Please do. That's exactly what I did. It made it a lot faster than my first puzzle once I finally figured it out. Once again, if you just wanted to do this part on your own, skip to 32, just skip. There's no reason for you really to watch this unless you just wanted to follow along and race me. But that slide puzzle solver will make it a lot easier. I think once I figured it out, I got every puzzle done in about 45 seconds, and they only took 20 to 30 moves each. Once you've got it solved, the room is going to shake again. You're going to get another key on your necklace, and you're going to want to exit via the portal on the western wall. Now we're going to go to the third area, which is the Black Knight's Fortress. So I just home teleported to Edgeville, and it's just west of there. This is the point where you want to make sure that you have the bronze medium helm and the iron chain body, or else you can't get in without that. Or whatever you're going to use to get into the Black Knight's Fortress. They should make a little bridge right there. It's annoying having to walk all the way around. All it is a time waste more than anything. But I guess the Black Knight's only one way up, so kind of makes sense. I don't know. Oh, what's going on there? I didn't even notice that. Once you get up to the gates, you're going to want to equip that armor you're using to get into the fortress. So I had the bronze medium helm and the iron chain body. Once you've got that armor equipped, you should be able to enter the fortress with no issue. And you'll see that the portal is going to be just to the northeast. Step on it. And rinse and repeat. Same thing, except for this puzzle room actually has 3 puzzles you need to complete rather than just 2 to get the full slide puzzle solved. So I had 3 repeat puzzles in this room, or 3 kind of repeat. This one was a little different. I had to use, it was another old recipe puzzle, but I had to use the first letter of each ingredient because the numbers were not round. VLHN was my code for whatever the ingredients were. You just need the first letter. This one's pretty simple to figure out. They're all pretty simple once you figure them out, I should say. Once you've got that done, check the chest, you'll get a portion of your solution, and move on to the next puzzle. So my next puzzle was another repeat. It was the plaque puzzle, where you have to use the first letter of each city's banner. So I had Menephos, Karamja, Faldor, and what's that last one? Berthorpe? Yeah, so MKFB was my code for the chest. Throw that shit in there, and then check the chest. Another portion of the puzzle. And like I said, the third room has 3 puzzles for the pattern, so you gotta solve another one. I believe each color corresponds to a door. So now this puzzle, I had items on the floor once again. This northern room seems to go west to east rather than east to west, so keep that in mind if you're having some trouble. It was TNJC. I had a topaz ring, some nettles, a javelin, and then curry. So first letter of items on the floor in order, once again. Alright, so once you finish the final puzzle, you're going to get a bloody clue scroll saying you are it once again. You need to take this to Reldo in the Varrock Palace. So helm teleport to Varrock, and then directly north from Lodestone is how you're going to get to Reldo. For those of you who don't know, and you should know, Reldo is the librarian in the Varrock Palace. He's in many clues, many quests, if you're playing the game, it's important to know. So if this is me telling you, remember who Reldo is, just to save some time in the future. He's located on the bottom floor in the library. He's just the palace librarian, but he kind of knows everything about RuneScape. Or can help you find the information somewhere, like a good librarian. So once you get into the library here, you're going to want to talk to Reldo in quotations, and you'll see why. Use the Cheros necklace on him, and you'll see that Reldo actually is Cheros, or Keros, or Kairos, or Cheros. I don't know, man. I don't know. Just say one, nice to meet you, and be like, bah, I knew you this whole time. You just didn't know it was me. And then your character's gonna be like, but did Reldo ever exist? And he's gonna be like really deep and philosophical about it, because you all knew Reldo and liked Reldo, and Reldo was kind of his own person, but Reldo never really did exist. It's a whole thing. And I feel like I've been personally betrayed by RuneScape. Not even just this one time, because Reldo was like a cool character, and it just ends up being this like devious boy who uses ring to get discounts all the time. After you have your little introduction, the Dragon Boy and Thok show up, and they say that we need to make this device to help us attune with the needle. They request a bunch of materials, which you should already have on your person. So choose the first chat option 1. I already have that. And if you do choose that chat option, they take a shot at me, saying it's almost as if you're being guided. I feel personally attacked. And Jagex can look forward to hearing from my lawyers. Alright? Anyways, it's going to get a black screen. Ask you if you want to read a love story. I resisted because I didn't want the additional dialogue. And essentially they tell you that it's time to head back to the Needle and do this thing. So I home teleported to Eagle's Peak and walked my happy little ass over to the Needle. We're just gonna cut this out real quick. You don't want to hear me heavy breathing into the mic, and it's a long walk, so I'll meet you back over at the Needle. Whew, man, that took forever. Now you're going to want to talk to Carapac once you get back over here. And Gale is going to show up once you all try and do your thing and be like, no, you can't do that. I have to protect the Needle. And Carapac ain't having none of that shit. She attacks everybody but you for some reason. When you're the one who's like the world guardian, Gale, some fucking oversight here would have been nice. Attack me too, so I can't do anything. So basically all I'm trying to say is that Gale, your moves are weak. Anyways, you'll get teleported to the deepest, darkest, or not even dark, just the deepest chambers of Guthix's lair. And you're going to want to run around the whole place and kill 5 Slisks. They're kind of hidden in the shadows, so you can't see them. You just got to aimlessly run around. Don't bother running all the way to the end and going downstairs, because there's nothing down there. But every time you kill a Slisk, it's going to drop a piece of a mask. And with 5 mask pieces, you can assemble it, put on the mask, and become Slisk. That's what we're going to have to do. So just run around. Don't bother going further than this area right here. Actually, I don't know. Maybe for you, you'll have some down here. So I won't say straight up don't. Basically, if you're having trouble finding them, try running around down here. But for me, all 5 were upstairs. Just kind of hidden around in this area that is dirt. Every time one spawns, you're going to get some new audio lore. So if you have your music turned down, or your in-game chat, you're missing out on Guthix's sweet voice and Slisk's sweet voice talking to each other. Make sure every time you kill a Slisk, you pick up that broken shard of his mask. Like I said, once you've got all 5 of the mask pieces, assemble them in your inventory and put the mask on. It might be worth it to run down to the end, to the downstairs area before you put it on, because once you're Slisk, you can't run. So if you're interested in that little time save, it might be worth it. But otherwise, just wherever you put it on, walk towards Guthix, and we're going to kill that boy. It turns out that we are the one who killed Guthix and made ourselves the World Guardian. Kind of weird, but I guess that's how it goes in Time Traveler world. And the needle has that kind of time power, so it's your only option is really to kill him. It gives you, are you sure you want to when you do click on him? But yeah, we got to kill that boy. So yes, kill him. First chat option. And you're going to get a nice little cutscene here with you teleporting in from the past future and seeing you teleport in from the present past to kill the Guthix. Shoot him in the chest with your little staff. Kill that boy, make yourself all powerful. And then after this, you're going to get teleported to a new area where you're going to have to do some divination. Exciting, right? Not really. You do have to harvest memories, but it's for lore purposes. You're harvesting the memories of the gods. They're the red spinny things, kind of everywhere. There's a really linear path you have to go on. So you should be able to just follow along. The first one is kind of off the path, but the rest are right along a linear path to follow. This is, like I said, essentially just a bunch of backstory. You speak to all the 4 main gods: Armadil, Zamorak, Saradomin, Bandos, and then finally Saren is the 5th. And then once you're done speaking to all of them, you have to go speak to Guthix, and you'll once again get teleported to a new area. So once you're done talking to Saren, you have to go backtrack a little bit and walk to Guthix, who's by the fairy ring. He's appeared standing in the middle of the fairy ring by his giant body, which has been solidified into stone. And when you walk to Guthix, you're going to be presented with some chat options. It really doesn't matter which one you pick. It just depends how you feel about Guthix personally. Do you think he's a good guy, bad guy, good guy? Anyway, I chose the second chat option to say that he's a good dude. I kind of like Guthix. I feel bad for him dying, trying to just be a good guy. But yeah, once you're done with this part, you're going to get teleported to a new area that's going to introduce us to a new kind of puzzle that's very similar to the Mourning's End puzzles, where you have to direct beams in a certain direction to succeed. Alright, we're slowing it down here for a second as well, because this is another puzzle we're going to have to do several times to complete the quest. Essentially, you've got the needle here sending off shards of power, and those are bouncing off these harmonized animus, or whatever. Essentially, what you're going to have to do throughout the rest of this quest is bounce this animus into wherever it says it needs to be. Most of the time, it's empowering... what's the dragon kid's name? I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but you're empowering him. But for right now, you need to redirect it to the center of the beams. The two gods, it looks like Saradomin and Zamorak, who are fighting in the middle. So these green blobs that are shooting across the screen right now bounce off these purple things. Right now, they're empowering Gale because she's the needle's holder, but you need to direct them to the purple things so they bounce onto the beam. So you do that just by clicking on those green things they bounce off of and redirecting them. You only need to click each of them once and it'll redirect them to where they need to go. If you're confused, just watch. Essentially, you click each mutable anima, these green things, that the green blobs just bounced off of one time. You'll see they have a little directional arrow pointing on them, kind of telling you which direction they're going. You want to have these be crossed, and then once the blobs go, you want to go downstairs to the next set of mutable animas. These are lower on the platform, but they're the green ones. You can't mess with the purple animas. Those are harmonized. So the green animas, you want to make those cross as well. You should be aiming them directly towards the center of the beam. Once you've got that done correctly, these blobs are going to bounce off all the way down and meet in the middle of the god beams, and your screen will fade to black. Okay, it's not actually going to the god beam, it's going to the dragonkin, which is the goal for the next one as well. But save that for a second. We've got to go through the Empyrean Citadel once again. If you've done... what quest was it? Where you get the Slisk box. You're basically doing that quest again. So you walk forward, you get some Slisk lore, but you don't have to listen to any of the lore through this part. And we're going to walk west into what I have dubbed the shitty room to make our way through it. This room sucks. To start, you're going to want to make your way north and then south towards the center of the room, and then to the window on the south wall. The window on the southeast wall, it looks like? Yeah, the southeast wall. You're going to exit through that window. You'll go outside, and then you're going to parkour along the side of the building. There's jumping over some stuff, there's some planks you have to run across, climbing down the rock, and then climbing back up the rock into the shitty room. So from this point, this is when you climb down, and then climb back up the rock face, and that's going to bring you through the window back into the shitty room where you have to do more agility stuff. Once you're back in the room, you're going to want to climb through the object. I think it's an obstacle, actually. Yeah. Climb through obstacle. And then proceed north to the room with the light. Gonna get some more sick lore going here, if you're interested in that kind of stuff. This one's Zamorak talking about the good shit. Or is it the Dragonkin? I can't tell, you know. Or you can keep running through the Citadel because, you know, let's go. It's an hour-long quest already. So you just keep running until you reach the door at the end of these hallways. So you're going to just keep running to the east and then south. Another room with a light in it. And then the door at the end, you're going to open that door. When you open the door, it's going to trigger a cutscene where Carapac, the Dragonkin, whose name I can never remember, basically destroys the Stone of Jas or claims it for his own. I'm not sure. It looks like he destroys it. I think he destroys it, but is he that powerful? It's the fucking Stone of Jas. Wars have been fought over that thing, you know? But there's a little cutscene. He does his thing here. Yeah, destroys it. Man just ends wars like that. What a good dude, you know? Now we're back at this needle puzzle. Just gets harder. This time you need to redirect the beams to Carapac once again, like we did the first time, but it's a little more involved. So to start, we're going to want to activate the northwestern mutable anima on the bottom floor. You're currently on the bottom floor. Sorry for the jump cuts. I tried to make it as good as possible, but just activate it one time and then enter the temporal rift directly to the south. This is going to bring you up to the second level. Now run north, and this is going to bring you to the south anima. Redirect it so that the beam is redirecting south off of it into the portal you just entered through. And then, I know if it's confusing, I'm sorry, just make sure that the beam ends up shooting south from where the anima is. Now activate the anima to the north so that the beam shoots north when it hits that one. Now enter the temporal rift directly to the north, and you can actually click on it all the way from here. There is a mutable anima directly to the west. When you click on it, you're going to want the blob to shoot to the north. If you've done it correctly, it's going to phase out here. Now once again, the puzzle gets harder and a little more confusing. But this is the final room. This time we need to redirect a total of 4 beams to Carapac. The first thing you need to do, which took me a second to figure out, so apologies for that jump cut right there, is unlock the mutable animas by harvesting memories, which are in the area. The first memory is located directly south in a room, the room that I'm about to enter right now. So you're going to want to harvest the memory there, and you'll see Carapac and I believe his child having a conversation, and then it's cut short. The next memory is going to be located to the north, just by the beginning where you spawned in. Once again, sorry for the jump cut. I was figuring this out as I went along. You can try jumping around in the portals to figure it out faster. It probably would have been just as fast for me to run all the way to the north. But you can see this is right where you started, and then this room right here has a harvestable memory in it. Another little dialogue cutscene with Carapac and his son. And now we're going to go get the final memory, which is located just to the west of the first memory. Quick little teleport there. It can be quick because you run kind of slow in this room. But you could also end up teleporting to the wrong place and waste time as well. So this is the final memory we need to harvest. And it's going to be a very short dialogue, which is seemingly ended abruptly. Now what you need to do is activate each of the mutable anima one time each. By the time we're done activating each of these anima, 2 beams should be directed at Karapak. So you'll see that these beams bounce. You kind of want to make sure your beams are bouncing just the same way that mine are. You can follow them to see where they're messing up, but in the end you want that beam to be going through that portal right there. But you just want to follow them to make sure they're going to the right place. So you see how that one's aiming down this hallway here? That's how you want that one to be. And you want the one just right here to be bouncing into the portal just to the southeast, which will do that after you activate it once. And then you can follow it through the portal, follow it to the next place to make sure it's going to the right way. And you should be able to wait here for a while to make sure that 2 beams are coming out to Karapak. If they're not, just go back. You can see that where they should be coming out on my screen right here. If they're not coming out of those 2 areas, just kind of backtrack to see where it should be coming from. Now we're going to want to enter the temporal rift to the west of Karapak, one of the ones directly surrounding him, and then activate the 2 mutable animas 1 time. This will direct the final 2 beams to Karapak. And then you're going to want to go through one of the temporal rifts that these blobs go through to return to him to make sure all 4 beams are actually being directed onto him. All 4 should come through at the same time, and then your screen should fade to black. Right there. Once all 4 reach him, you're going to get another cutscene where you realize that Karapak is a bad dude. This dude a villain. He wants to kill everybody to ensure his own survival. After this, you're going to get granted another cutscene, which basically explains everything that just happened. You can go to 101:52 to skip this, or just watch the cutscene by yourself and go through it. It's a shorter one. It's got an adventure questy feel to it, if anybody ever played that game. Apologies for the poor camera work here. You're just going to want to click through all the dialogue with Cheros. And I was so busy reading the dialogue that I wasn't really paying attention to what was happening on screen. Essentially, right now, I'm at the Needle talking to Cheros, Thok, and I think her name is Primrose. She was Gale until he stole the needle from her. Now they tell you that you should report to Saren what happened, so you're going to want to go back to Berthorpe. Just home teleport. It's honestly, it's not even worth wasting runes. It's right there. It's just home teleport. Run north into the castle. Up the stairs. And talk to Saren. You'll give a brief overview of what happened. Everybody will realize that we probably should have listened to Saren in the first place, because at least there was a chance we would have survived. But now that Karapak is an all-powerful villain, might not happen. But essentially, that's quest complete. If this helped, please, please, please leave a like, even a comment, even a negative comment. Let me know how I can be better. Join the friends chat, Lildogdog15, if you ever need quest help. Subscribe and check out my other videos, and sub to me on Twitch. It'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks.